Black and white snowflakes flickered incessantly before her eyes. In the luxurious hotel room, Emily lay in the bathtub, listening to her Walkman with headphones on. Relaxed and comfortable, she gradually lost consciousness.
What are they saying?
Suddenly, it felt like someone picked her up. She shivered from the cold and instinctively curled into a ball. With a thud, she was gently placed on a bed.
I am Emily Smith, a senior high school student. At the start of the year, I was blessed by the goddess of luck, embarking on a new journey in life, studying abroad in an era without smartphones.
In the heavy snowfall of northeast China, layer upon layer of clothes were put on her, from small to large, followed by a down jacket. Yes, she was a walking piece of luggage. Like a penguin, she got stuck at the airplane door.
Boo-hoo, thanks to the kind flight attendant who gave me a hand.
After a 10-hour journey, the warm country made her take off her down jacket, then her t-shirt, and another t-shirt. She opened the foldable backpack her mom had prepared and stuffed her clothes in as she took them off.
Mom, you really had everything planned out.
She waited for 2 hours in the air-conditioned airport, but no one came to pick her up.
I quickly got into a taxi and confidently told the driver and Thai to go to Siam.
The driver's Kate voice made her feel the reality of studying abroad. She looked around, unable to contain her excitement.
I was about to start a new life selling rice, not really, selling vegetables, nope, selling winter melons, don't be afraid.
But joy turned to sorrow when the driver indicated it was time to get off, and she was dumbfounded.
Where is this place?
She opened the car window, and the heat hit her in the face. In front of her were rows of detached houses surrounded by high-rise buildings. She looked back at the driver.
This can't be right. This place is so bustling.
She mustered up the courage to try to intimidate him with her presence, switching from Thai to English. After a fierce struggle, she finally made him understand that she wanted to go to Siam University, not Siam Square. After a bumpy ride, she finally saw the school building.
Ah! There!
With a sharp turn and a loud bang, her face had an intimate encounter with the car window. She gritted her teeth and silently told herself to endure it. He was a local. She paid the fare and ran straight into the campus without looking back. As she was enjoying the small pleasures of the university campus, tragedy was about to unfold.
During a confusing conversation with the International Department's female secretary, I vaguely learned that they had not received my application materials, nor had they issued an admission letter.
When she wanted to show her passport, she found it was missing. Dragging her luggage, she had nowhere to go. The endless stream of students in uniforms was a tempting sight. She should have been wearing a school uniform, but now she could only sit on a bench, feeling very dejected.
Wait, let me think this through. Why did studying abroad come so suddenly? My mom isn't usually this unreliable. I was too happy yesterday to think it through. Without an admission letter, how could I attend university? Right, I need to find my passport and then figure things out.
Emily jumped up and collided head-on with someone.
You.
The person in front of her had clear-cut features, deep-set eyes, and sunburnt patches on his face. He radiated light, reflecting a faint glow onto her. Like a savior.
You left this in the taxi.
He pulled a passport out of his back pocket and handed it to her.
Passport? My passport? Yes. Thank you.
He shook his hand, and just as he was about to turn away, Emily quickly grabbed his hand. Under his surprised gaze, she let go and swiftly clutched the corner of his t-shirt.
Help me. Please. Please.
Her stomach growled loudly, breaking the awkward silence and making her face flush with heat.
Please help me, you're the only person I know here.
The dining hall wasn't big, a standalone Southeast Asian-style building with all the wooden-framed windows wide open. While he went to order food, Emily quickly ran to the nearby convenience store to buy some aloe vera gel for him.
I noticed your sunburn, let me help.
She pointed to his face, and seeing him fumble with it, she took over and applied it to his face and neck. When she sat down and saw his face looking like a monkey's bottom, she was startled.
Oh no, is he allergic to aloe vera gel?
Silence reigned, and the clinking of cutlery was the only sound. Following the principle of if the enemy doesn't move, I don't move, she kept stealing glances at him while eating. After the meal, she awaited his decision.
Say it.
No one came to pick me up, and the school didn't receive my admission application. I want to study here.
This university?
I want to stay here, help me, please.
Yesterday at noon, while Emily was doing practice questions, she heard her mom shouting excitedly.
Emily Smith, hurry up and pack your things, you've been accepted to Siam University.
Now it seemed she was clearly deceived. It's not important, no need to dwell on it, the most important thing now is to stay and study. A distinguished man in a white long-sleeved shirt, dark blue tie, and black trousers approached while Emily was humbly begging him.
Sawadee ka, Ajarn.
Sawadee ka, Ajarn.
Watching the two of them chat freely, Emily could only accompany them with a forced smile, not understanding a word they were saying. Their voices were so low, like mosquitoes, and all she could hear was him repeatedly saying Carl, Carl.
Where are we going?
Where is he taking my suitcase? Huh? Ah. My nose, why didn't you say anything when you stopped? Feeling miserable, she stuffed her backpack into the trunk while rubbing her nose. The secretary at the international office smiled and handed her a few forms, registration forms.
Oh no, there are several parts one don't know how to fill out.
She glanced at him sideways, tugged at his sleeve, and pointed to the parts she didn't know.
Can you help me with these?
He reluctantly took the pen, and watching him fill out the forms, Emily couldn't help but laugh.
Don't glare at me.
Although he looked cold, she wasn't afraid of him at all. Just as she was laughing foolishly, the distinguished man walked in. Hearing a few students call out, she was petrified. The distinguished man was the head of the international department. At that moment, if looks could kill, she would be riddled with holes. Seeing him cover his mouth to stifle a laugh, she couldn't help but laugh too. Laughing and laughing, she was taken to a small room by the secretary. For the first time in her life, she was alone in a big exam room, and then she got roasted. After getting herself together, Emily used Jim's phone to call home, assuring them she was safe and sharing only the good news.
I should buy a phone card. Using the excuse of testing the phone, I'll get Jim's number.
To show her gratitude, she went back to the cafeteria and handed her wallet to Jim, telling him to order whatever he wanted.
Jim, you can order whatever you like. It's all the money I have.
Don't worry about today's exam, you'll definitely get in. The only question is whether you need to take a preparatory course.
It's the middle of the semester now. It ends in early March, followed by a summer break of over 3 months.
Yes, over 3 months of summer break. Don't worry, take your time.
Anxiety was creeping in, but Jim continued to reassure her.
From now until the official start of the semester, there are 5 months. You can start by learning the language. If your English is good enough, you won't need the preparatory course.
Where do you want to stay?
The dormitory, of course. There are no dormitories, only apartments.
Emily couldn't keep up with the reality. Where would she stay tonight?
Stay at a hotel tonight. We'll sort everything else out tomorrow.
After checking in, as Jim said goodbye and turned to leave, Emily grabbed his sleeve.
Will you come tomorrow?
I'll still be taking a taxi tomorrow.
After a long and tiring journey, Emily was exhausted. But when she saw the huge bathtub, all her worries vanished instantly.
Comfortable.
In her dream, an English listening test. Are you okay?
Emily Smith, Emily Smith, Emily Smith, wakey wakey, do you want to drown, stupid fellow?
No, don't mess with me. You're the stupid one.
Kicking and punching, Emily drove the bad guy out of her dream.
Don't move.
What Emily thought was a dream was actually everyone thinking she had tried to harm herself. Waking up, she found herself in a bright hospital room.
Hospital?
Didn't drown yourself, but burned your brain?
How did I get out of the bathtub?
I carried you out. Do you think I had the mind to think about anything else in that situation?
You.
Emily pointed at Jim, unable to speak, this awkwardness unbearable. A trip to the hospital made her wallet even thinner, anxiety taking over. She couldn't stay at the hotel anymore.
I chose a women's apartment near the school, but due to maintenance, I couldn't move in for another 2 days. I paid the deposit but had nowhere to stay. Jim, can you help me figure something out? I really can't afford the hotel.
That night, Emily moved into Jim's apartment, a 2-bedroom place. In the middle of the night, he got a call and told her he had to go out, leaving her to her own devices. 2 days later, David came back to take me to find a tutoring school. As we walked into the parking lot, I saw him driving a silver-gray Mercedes.
Not driving a taxi?
I'm not a driver. My name is Jim Kritapak, and I'm a doctor.
My expression was one of utter shock, my mouth wide enough to fit an egg. He even helped lift my chin with his hand.
The taxi was my friend's. He went back to his hometown that day. I drove it back, and when I was putting the luggage in, you just threw your luggage into the trunk.
What was going on?
You went to the parking lot that day, not the taxi stand.
My mind quickly replayed the scene from that day. Oh, it seemed to be the case. Misunderstanding. I quickly tried to appease him by massaging his shoulders. With him around, finding a tutoring school was a breeze. Both the English and Thai schools were not far from the university. To celebrate, I treated him to a meal. My wallet was on a diet, and just as I was worrying about it, he handed me a gift bag.
Happy birthday!
A gift? Dior perfume. A delicate bottle with a charming lily scent, it seemed to be carefully chosen.
Study hard and don't cause trouble for me as your guardian.
Guardian?
Did you forget that I signed as your guardian for your university application?
The word guardian dampened my good mood from receiving the gift. I'm already 19, why do I still need a guardian? I moved into the apartment and settled into a routine of studying and living. Life can't be too smooth. Even a trip to the supermarket can lead to unexpected events. A shelf collapsed. It wouldn't have hit me, but an elderly lady was standing with her back to the shelf, talking on the phone, unaware of the danger. To save her, I got knocked out. And so, I ended up in the hospital again. When I woke up, I found Jim by my side, feeling deeply moved. As he bent down to tuck me in, the golden Parker pen on his white coat caught my eye. At that moment, I realized I liked him. After breakfast, the elderly lady came to visit me with some people, thanking me for saving her. She asked me to call her Granny. She was an overseas Chinese, her parents' generation had come here. The old lady was very talkative, but we still had some communication barriers. It was then that I understood why he had suggested I learn the local language. Soon after, a representative from the supermarket also came to apologize and brought some gifts. They also took care of the medical expenses. The single room in the hospital was spacious and bright. With his care and effort, I was discharged quickly. Hey. Where are you going?
Nowhere, you'll be staying here for a few days.
Why? What was going on?
You're not fit to live alone right now.
I was even more confused. Why? After taking a shower, he called me over like he was summoning a big white bear. Wait, why was he pulling me into the room?
Lie down.
I'm going to apply some medicine. I suddenly understood. I had been hit on the back, and indeed, I needed someone to help. But this didn't seem appropriate. I can do it myself.
You can't reach it yourself.
I awkwardly walked to the bed, wondering how to expose my back.
It's not like I haven't seen it before.
Feeling both resentful and shy, I could only shout. Jim! He laughed and pulled me to sit down. I lay on the bed, not knowing what to do. He gently helped me take off my shirt, and the cotton swab with ointment glided over my back, sending shivers down my spine. A few days later, Granny called a driver to pick me up for a visit. Passing through the blue iron gate, what appeared before me was a factory, with dozens of trucks bustling around. At the end, there were two buildings. Luxurious and spacious, the hall had someone bringing juice and snacks. Looking around, I noticed a valuable guzheng in the side hall. I had learned to play it before, but stopped when I entered high school.
Can you play the guzheng?
Granny asked softly.
I've learned it.
Give it a try.
Though rusty, I hadn't forgotten how to play.
Not bad at all. Interested in becoming a performer?
Just like that, my part-time job was settled. Twice a week, 2 hours each time. Perfect timing, just what I needed. Leaving Granny's house, I hurriedly called Jim to boast about my new part-time job.
Congratulations!
He said, sparing words. The next day, he suggested that since I hadn't officially started school yet, I should learn some new skills, and began teaching me to drive. I don't know if it was my clumsiness or being too close to him, but I felt breathless and nervous, often mixing up left and right. Several times, I almost drove him to frustration. Under his guidance, I successfully got my driver's license a month later. Working at Granny's house improved my Thai language skills rapidly, making me realize the importance of practice. Gradually, I became familiar with Granny, a kind and gentle lady who taught me Thai etiquette and local culture. Her household staff were also very kind, teaching me how to make flower garlands, desserts, and royal cuisine, helping me integrate into the local community. At that time, I didn't know that everything had been arranged. Songkran, the water festival, was such an exciting event. Regardless of whether you knew someone or not, you would get soaked and powdered. Men, women, and children all played together.
I'll show you the excitement of Songkran.
That was the first time I met John, the real owner of the taxi. He warmly invited us into the car, but just as I was about to open the door, he pulled me away.
Hold on tight! Stand firm! Let's go!
With the music blasting, energetic country rock filled the air. The streets were a water gun battlefield, with people dancing sensually.
Ah.
Before I knew it, I was forced into the fray. It didn't matter who they were, standing on the truck, I splashed water on everyone I saw. After several rounds, the girls around me were already disheveled and soaked. At that moment, I was glad I was an obedient child. His words from the night before echoed in my ears.
Tomorrow, tie your hair into 2 braids. Wear the clothes in the bag and apply sunscreen. I'll pick you up at 9.
The truck started and stopped, and I wobbled on it, often losing my balance. Each time, he would catch me in time. At lunch, we ate with many acquaintances. We even ran into a few stylishly dressed women who greeted Jim. Looking at their elegance in makeup, and then at myself, I felt like a bucket of cold water had been poured over me. He was indeed out of my reach. I didn't dare take the first step. If he wasn't interested, I would lose him. I didn't dare take the risk. I believed that if it was meant to be, it would be. However, I overlooked the fact that those people addressed him with honorifics, indicating they weren't familiar, not even friends.
Why are you eating so little?
Maybe I'm just tired.
Eat some more. After lunch, I'll take you back to rest. Tonight, I'll take you to a revolving restaurant.
The revolving restaurant, the tallest building in Bangkok, located in the city center. A romantic dinner is either the beginning or the end of a relationship. Finally, what was meant to happen, happened.
I'm going to the U.S. for an academic seminar tomorrow.
Okay.
I nodded expressionlessly, as if he had just said he couldn't have dinner with me tomorrow.
I might not be back for 6 months.
For a moment, I was speechless. What did his departure mean?
Don't think you can slack off just because I'm not here. Study hard.
You really are a responsible guardian.
John, 081-191-9756. If you need anything, you can find John. If he can't solve it, you can go to Granny. Thai people are very kind. By the way, here's the car key. The car is parked downstairs at your apartment. Be safe, and for maintenance issues, you can find John.
He rattled off instructions, and I hadn't even had time to react.
Why do I feel like I'm being abandoned?
He walked over, held me in his arms, and gently patted my back.
No, today's separation is for a better reunion in the future.
I willfully leaned into his embrace, letting my tears soak his shirt. Emily couldn't believe her ears. Studying abroad, just like that?
Confused, why did studying abroad come so suddenly?
Emily reflected on her usually reliable mother.
Shouting, my mom isn't usually this unreliable.
Emily had been too happy yesterday to think it through.
Serious, without an admission letter, how could I attend university?
She decided to gather her thoughts and find her passport.
Determined, right, I need to find my passport and then figure things out.
The journey ahead was filled with beautiful scenery.
Where are we going?
He hadn't mentioned anything about last night all day, which made me anxious.
To the outskirts for the Water Lantern Festival.
The Water Lantern Festival?
I wanted to surprise you at the school gate today.
After passing countless flowers and trees, we finally arrived at our destination amidst our casual conversation. My stomach was growling, so we had to eat first.
Whenever I eat with him, I have to chew slowly and quietly.
The harmonious atmosphere was interrupted by the ringing of my phone.
Hello, Linda.
Carl.
Carl. Jim, you should go back and be with her. I can manage on my own.
He gave me a mischievous smile and flicked my forehead.
Jealous?
Blushing, I replied evasively, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said those things last night.
Silly girl, Linda just graduated, and our companies are collaborating on a real estate project. The banquet was just to stir up some buzz. We're just friends.
Was that an explanation? Why did it make me feel even more awkward? But the real awkwardness was yet to come.
Huh? Only one room? Where will you stay?
I only booked one room. You go take a shower and change first.
How can we share one room?
Just go. He pushed me into the bathroom again.
The traditional attire was exquisite and elegant.
Jim, do I have to dress this formally?
You'll understand tonight. Come out and I'll help you dry your hair.
A year ago, I couldn't even fit into such a beautiful dress. After much fussing around,
Do I look good? I twirled to show off the dress.
Mm.
Which looks better, the dress or me?
Both look good. Go to your makeup, I'll take a shower.
Yes, ma'am, Kate.
the Water Lantern Festival, a beautiful celebration. The streets were lined with dazzling flower lanterns. Men and women, all dressed up. Some say the Water Lantern Festival is also a lover's festival. I almost lost him in the crowd, but Jim took my hand.
Stay close.
Holding hands, admiring the lanterns, I felt full of happiness. 2 identical custom-made flower lanterns caught my eye. Holding the beautiful lanterns, we walked forward.
What festival is it today?
The Water Lantern Festival.
It's also Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, my girl.
Happy Valentine's Day, Jim.
Be my girlfriend. The sudden surprise left me stunned.
He took off the necklace from his neck and removed the 2 rings from it. Gently, he slipped one onto my right ring finger.
Accepting the gift means you agree.
Jim, are you serious?
Of course.
Yes. Tears of joy and a passionate hug.
After a year of flirting, he finally responded. The 2 unique water lanterns floated forward together. Only after falling in love did I realize he was a big liar. He is the heir of the K Group, which runs a taxi company, hotels, and real estate. And Granny is his biological grandmother. The age gap, cultural differences, and our unexpected meeting made him lack confidence in this relationship. He avoided it. But it turned out I adapted well to the current environment. New Year's Day was approaching.
Have a meal with my family.
Are you serious? We've only been together for 38 days and you want me to meet your parents?
On New Year's Eve, his family arranged a small gathering. Under Daisy's, Granny's housekeeper, guidance, I paid respects to Jim's granny, parents, and other elders in the family. It seemed I had gained the approval of the Kritapak family.
You chat for a bit. I'll go check why my cousin hasn't arrived yet.
The elders were very kind, which made me relax a lot. During our conversation, a female classmate called me, and I stepped outside to take the call just as Jim and his cousin arrived. I saw the 2 of them chatting animatedly. After hanging up, he called me aside.
Is that cousin the one you said was pursuing you?
Yes. But he was just joking.
My explanation didn't ease the tension.
Let's break up.
With that, he turned and walked away decisively, leaving me standing there, stunned.
Jim, why didn't you just say she was my sister-in-law?
What?
Where's my brother?
He just ran out.
Oh no!
Seeing him rush forward, I followed closely to the basement. I drove his BMW, chasing after him. Tom sat in the passenger seat, repeatedly apologizing in my ear.
Can you stop crying and explain things to me clearly? My mom is still in a coma after saving him, and I just asked him to help me pursue you.
What?
Bang, a kiss of separation. Both sides were hurt. He finally calmed down and stopped running. He came over, opened the car door, and hugged me tightly. We embraced and cried together.
Can you 2 care about me? I'm a celebrity, you know.
Now you remember you're a celebrity? Who was the one crying all the way here?
Sister-in-law, I know I was wrong.
Here's a hat for you.
We called someone to handle the car and took a taxi back to the hotel. No one mentioned the breakup again.
Lily,
Let's go inside and eat first. We can talk when you're ready.
To this day, I think whether we end up together or not, I am truly grateful to you, and even more grateful to Granny for her nurturing. She transformed me from a girl who would cry at every little thing into a calm and rational woman who handles situations with clarity. Under the teasing and watchful eyes of the elders, our first meeting ended perfectly. Emily's thoughts were in turmoil. Studying abroad? That was a sudden idea. Life has gained a new routine. Every day, I chat with my aunt, venting my frustrations, and life goes on quite well. I don't know if it's because she pities me or feels sorry for me. Aunt's eyelids actually moved. I pressed the call button excitedly.
Call the doctor, the patient moved. Hurry!
I nervously rubbed my hands together, tears streaming down my face. Silently praying, Aunt, you must wake up. Please wake up.
What happened?
The long-lost voice and familiar face appeared before me, and I couldn't tell if I was more joyful or sorrowful.
Aunt just blinked. I saw it, really.
He quickly joined the attending team. After everyone's diagnosis, it was confirmed that her condition had improved, but she hadn't woken up. After the busy period, he held my hand and led me out of the hospital.
How should we face this now?
Just as I turned to get out of the car, he grabbed my hand.
Let's talk.
In the darkness, the light illuminated his clear face. What should we talk about?
I'm sorry. I heard Tom say he likes you at the hospital.
So that's why he left. I pulled him into my arms, stroking his back, asking for his forgiveness.
I don't blame you, and I will forgive you, but not now. I'll give you time to think about your feelings for me and our relationship. Then come find me.
As I turned to open the car door, he pulled me back forcefully. Warm breath brushed past my ear.
I don't want to wait anymore. I love you.
Words of longing turned into a passionate kiss. Life finally returned to normal. Granny said that with different identities, life plans also change. The engagement ceremony needed to be arranged soon. Thus, I attended my first family meeting. I was initially nervous, but when I saw the apology gift from my cousin, I was stunned.
A Lamborghini. I looked at my cousin in disbelief. You really gave me a hot potato.
I didn't want to accept it, but under Tom's father's persuasion, I did. The engagement ceremony was set before Songkran Festival. I gave the sports car a new look. With its yellow-green body, it looked like a member of K Taxi Company. Jim and I used it to take a unique set of engagement photos, with outstanding drivers as our backdrop. Thanks to it, we met and fell in love. On our engagement day, the sports car began its life as a taxi. The engagement photos were used as promotional images for the taxi industry on the official website. Thus, we commemorated our meeting and promoted the company. The misfortune of arriving in Thailand turned into today's happiness. With our efforts, Aunt's condition improved, and we believed she would wake up. This lily will continue to bloom under Jim's care. Every life must undergo a trial by fire, and I am the one stuck in the middle of it. Long flights always have some turbulence, and when the crashing scenes in Emma's dreams overlapped with the turbulence of the plane, she almost suffocated in her sleep.
It turns out that anxiety only adds more trouble to life.
Feeling down, Emma decided to go out and bask in the sun, but then her skin got irritated from the sun.
This vicious cycle is so frustrating.
Even with a hat and sunglasses, she couldn't hide the red patch on her skin. Early in the morning, the airport was still bustling with people, and Emma kept wondering when the heavens would wake up.
Perhaps the heavens took pity on me, for when I was nearly 30, I met a sweet girl.
Clumsy and naive, she didn't even realize it.
Her pitiful yet adorable demeanor made it impossible for me to forget her.
When Emma realized she had fallen in love with her, she became fearful.
I was afraid that she only appreciated me for helping her during tough times and keeping her company when she was lonely.
Fortunately, Emma was able to see the truth early on.
The issue with my cousin was my fault, and I thought I had lost her. But she was still there, waiting for me. How wonderful!